We left the UK 2.5 years ago, and today we're going to share with you our honest thoughts after leaving. Basically just give our honest review after spending over 2 years living out of the UK in multiple countries.
This is just to share with people that may want to move abroad themselves, or if they're currently abroad and feeling, I don't know, mixed feelings, mixed thoughts, then maybe you can watch this video for some comfort. It's basically just our own experience and how we felt since moving.
So just a bit of context, this is our story since we moved abroad. We both moved abroad separately and then we met in Australia. Since then we spent just under 2 years in Australia, travelling around, living in multiple cities. We lived in Adelaide, we lived in Perth. After that we travelled through Southeast Asia, and then since then have moved to New Zealand where we currently live.
So firstly, we're going to start off with everything we found positive since moving abroad. So the first one that is a big one to me is overall a better quality of life and a healthier lifestyle. Honestly, especially Australia, I just feel like everyone's on a completely different vibe. Everyone's up at 6 a.m, the sun's up, people are out for runs, getting coffee, it's so early in the morning. And that's just kind of the lifestyle that I thrive off.
Such a better lifestyle than the UK. The UK is nice for a couple of months, but not consistently at all. And in the winter, it's so hard to have especially an outdoor lifestyle with lots of sun because it's so cold and dark. In Australia, you get that so much. So secondly, the best thing about moving abroad is definitely the experiences. This is all of the amazing things that you get to do once you've moved, especially moving to countries like Australia. There's so much to do. The amount of stuff we've done in the last 2 years is pretty mad. To be honest, when we look back on it, we've definitely done more in the last 2 years than we probably have in our lives, like up till that. So much stuff, so much traveling, and yeah, so many experiences that we wouldn't have had if we just stayed in the UK.
So the next one is obviously depending on where you come from and where you're moving to, and this is the wage. I genuinely think Australia has got one of the best wages.
Yeah, it must be one of the highest in the world
for like non-experienced kind of jobs.
Yeah,
especially the mines in Perth and even an office job.
Just any job.
Yeah,
actually any job.
So obviously that is just Australia. People do say that to live over there is more expensive, but it honestly depends on your lifestyle. If you've got kids, a car, it depends on what your lifestyle is. But for us, the wage got us pretty far.
The cost of living was way better than the UK, I thought.
And New Zealand.
Easier to save a lot more, and New Zealand definitely more than New Zealand.
So obviously that's just kind of around Australia's wage, because we did spend most of our time in Australia.
So the next one is learning about ourselves. I feel like that's such a typical thing that people say when you go travelling.
But it's real.
It's real. To be honest, I was thinking about this, and it's not necessarily the travelling where you learn the most. It's more when you've got to set up in a new city, you've got to work shit jobs, you've got to be around people you don't really like. You move into new cities and you've got to set up and do all this stuff, which is, not great. That's when you learn about yourself more than actually traveling. But obviously we've had to do that so much since we moved, which has been difficult. But the positive side of that is you learn so much about yourself. You just grow a lot as a person, because now if we've got to deal with them situations in the future, then we're going to be in a much better position.
I also just think being away from familiar people, your friends and family, you're so stuck in your own old ways when you're at home, and you're very influenced by what you know, what's comfortable to you. When you come out here into this whole big new world, you've just got yourself to figure stuff out, and you've got to make the effort to go speak to new people with new mindsets and new personalities, which is really good as well for growth. I genuinely, hand on my heart, over the past 2 years think I'm a completely different person to who I was when I first.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Yeah, I've changed so much. No, you have changed a lot. Like, you've matured a lot.
It's probably because I got 3 years older.
And you've been around me. So keeping on the same kind of vibe, we want to speak about personal improvements, because a lot of people do say they go out and move abroad, move to Australia to find themselves, and some of it's very, what's the word, cliche? A lot of people say it and they don't actually change their lives. I've seen a really relatable TikTok the other day, and it was this guy saying people that were drinking every weekend at home, going to work 9 to 5, say they're going to move abroad to Australia and they're going to find themselves, change their lives, but they don't change any of the habits that they were doing in the UK, and they're just doing it in Australia. As I was saying, that I don't think I would have been able to go fully sober if I did. I don't think I would have done it if I didn't move to Australia, because it's hard to get out from the influences around you at home. It's harder to say no.
When everyone else is drinking, it's very hard to say no. I've hardly drank either. It's not really out of choice, more just because I haven't needed to.
Because you're not around them kind of people, which I love my friends at home, I love my family, but yeah, I don't think I could have done it if I didn't move.
Another thing along them sort of lines is I've started doing my own like TikToks and stuff. Again, I don't think I would have done that. First of all, if I didn't meet you.
Yeah.
And second of all, if I'd just been in the UK around my friends, because I'd be too worried about what people are thinking, and do you know what I mean? Because especially walking and filming it out in public, whatever, I'd be worried that people are going to see me that might know me and stuff. But being abroad, you don't care. You literally I really don't care anymore. We're quite happy walking down the street filming videos. We don't care what anyone thinks of us, and it'll be the same going back home now because we're used to it.
So yeah, there's only like a few of the improvements that is good for us. When I first stepped on that plane, I felt like it was a new identity being created. This was a new version of me, like,
true.
Especially for me, because I changed my surname as well.
Yeah.
I was stepping into a completely new country where nobody knew the old me, and that's the best thing about it as well, because if you do
fresh start,
if you go on your own as well, nobody knows you. They only know the stuff that you tell them. You can be whoever you want to be.
That's true.
When you go abroad.
So another thing for the personal achievements is we've ticked off so many bucket list items. Not all of them obviously, but we've ticked off loads. Obviously going to like Uluru, for example, that was top of my list for so long.
The Great Barrier Reef. That was my list.
Yeah, Thailand we wanted to do for so long. Obviously Sydney. So many places which were on our list for so long. We've ticked off in the last 2 years.
Yeah, we have.
Which I've been thinking about for so many years before that. So
it makes you just think manifestation is so real.
And it's just made our bucket list bigger, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. We want to keep going now. You get that bug.
We're going to talk about the negatives of moving. There's not many, but there's going to be some because it's life, and there's obviously with a big change, there's obviously going to be a few hard points. And
the negatives are personal. Obviously, everybody has different experiences to us.
Yeah, but we're talking about
this is just our own personal. So the first one is probably quite obvious. That's missing out on friends and family, occasions that happen at home, just not being a part of it. Christmas Day was always a big one for me. I've always big Christmas Day up, haven't I?
Yeah,
it's huge for me.
Yeah,
being away. I've never been away from you've never been away from your family for Christmas, nor have I. It's
never.
Yeah, quite a big thing, so always that downside to it, but then, you can't have everything.
Weirdly enough, the occasions and celebrations haven't bothered me at all. I wouldn't say I felt homesick, but I have noticed for sure, at the start when you first move, you're so carefree about being away from home. I was not thinking about home at all, because I was so happy in Australia, whatever. Now it's been 2.5 years, and obviously it comes closer to visiting home. It kind of hangs over you a bit that you haven't been home in so long.
Yeah.
And if we weren't to visit soon, then I think you'd gradually stop enjoying being abroad so much, because it would be you just get worried that your relationships with your friends and stuff aren't as strong, or they're fading.
Yeah.
We're excited to just refresh, aren't we?
Yeah, and then we'll be ready to go again.
We're pretty sure we do not want to move back to the UK, but we definitely want to refresh. And we hope that we get that same feeling when we move again, because we've refreshed. We're not going to crave seeing everyone, so
it's the right timing to go home and see everyone.
So the next one is struggling to make friends abroad. I personally thought that I'd end up with a whole new friendship group when I moved. I think because of being in so many different places, that's what's made it hard to make close friends.
You kind of don't want to get too close to people, because
it's
different though, because I said this in a video that I did the other day. Going to clubs, like for example, we're in New Zealand at the minute, and I've made friends through clubs and running clubs, but not really deep connected friendships. It's more like, I'll see you next week, like maybe we'll get a coffee afterwards or something. Whereas when we went to volunteering and did our farm work, when we were spending every day with these people in this unusual experience, we made really, really meaningful connections and friendships that I'll probably remember forever.
And it's true, it's like us meeting at farm work.
Yeah, we met at farm work.
If we'd met a night out maybe it wouldn't have led to what we've got now. But because we met at farm work, it was that sort of environment.
Yeah.
It's the same for friendships as well. But I expected to have a friendship group, but nah, not really. The longest we've lived somewhere is Perth for 9 months, and
we met friends.
We started to make some friends there.
Started to get good, and then we left.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Mine was not so much Luke, but me. Is I overthink my future a lot more. I overthink everything a lot more because I feel like as well there's like less people to talk to. Obviously, I talk to Luke and my mum once a week, but I feel when I was at home, I got it off my chest a little bit more and stuff, and I was more in my comfort zone a lot as well at home. I always had Australia to work towards, or I had university to work towards. I'm very bad where I'll compare my life to people that have got a house, a mortgage, got a dog, got a family.
And I always say to her, that's not even what you want.
Yeah, I know.
You're just comparing yourself because that's what you feel you should have.
Yeah.
It's not even what you want.
It was more when I turned 25 abroad, I was thinking, oh God, what am I... Because I should never have set any intentions when I came abroad to say I was going to figure out what I wanted to do, I was going to find myself. I should have never have said that because I set them expectations for myself.
Probably will eventually, but just because it hasn't happened yet, doesn't it?
So when I turned 25, I was thinking, crap, what am I doing?
There's a lot of people who get to their late 20s and realise they want to travel.
Yeah.
I always say we're doing it the way round, you probably should do it.
Yeah, and I think the thing with that is you've got to just let go of everything. Let go of expectations. Let go of what you should or what you think you should or you shouldn't be doing, because the best thing about moving abroad is you should just go with the flow, because you never know what's going to happen and you never know who you're going to meet. I'm learning. Yeah. So I wouldn't actually class that as much of a negative, because it's a negative spun into a positive.
Yeah, I've got a similar one that's maybe I don't have that one as much, but one thing I've definitely noticed over the last few months is because the highs of travelling are so high and they're so amazing, when you then having a time that's a bit more boring or a bit more difficult, it makes it extra hard. And I've
weather. It's raining again today.
I've struggled because we had 9 months of non-stop sun in Perth, like our favourite place we've ever lived. We then travelled through Southeast Asia, which was also amazing, and then we moved to New Zealand, where it's been pretty cold, pretty rainy, and we're living right in the city centre, which, like, we're being honest, it's not as nice as what we've had. It's not as nice as what we've had. Like, it's not terrible. It could be a lot worse.
We're grateful to have such a nice apartment.
100%. Like, and it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But because we've had such an amazing time before, I'm always gonna compare back to that, which is a bad thing. But yeah.
We felt happier in a really, really old, run-down house in Perth, because it was out of the city, it had a garden, it was sunny, we lived with a load of other backpackers, and
we just had the lifestyle, didn't we?
We had a good lifestyle compared to being in the thick of the city amongst all these corporate people, these serious people, buildings everywhere, weather's crap.
Yeah, it's a nice apartment.
It's a nice apartment, and I'm really happy we've got our bedroom and our own bathroom. But I don't know, it's a different vibe out here. It feels very serious.
Yeah. I guess it goes back to that positive about learning about ourselves.
Yeah, we've learned something new.
Something we're learning. We're not going to live in the city again.
Yeah, we won't live in the city again. I'm a nature queen.
We'd rather live, just somewhere near the beach. Whatever.
Somewhere not around buildings with corporate people.
Especially when it's cold and dark. It's like, So we're going to give our overall review after leaving the UK. And overall, would you say you're glad you did it?
Okay, 100%. I'll do it over again.
100%. There's like positives and negatives, obviously, but this is the best decision we've ever made, just for so many reasons. Like Jess said it the other day on like TikTok, whatever. You were saying how it's crazy how we miss Australia more than the UK, even though we've only been out of Australia 6 months. We've been away from the UK 2 years. And we literally miss Australia more, which is obviously saying something.
Yeah, it feels like home.
It does.
It's where my heart desires. Ever since I watched H2O Just Add Water, I was meant to be in Australia.
And we felt home from the minute we arrived there, didn't we? Until the minute we left.
Yeah.
If you want to move abroad, then highly recommend it.
Yeah. And if you want to see videos on how you should do it, how you move to Australia, what Australia's like, what New Zealand's like, then take a look at our channel.
And if you're in the UK now, we've done videos on how you can leave the UK, the visas and everything you need to get. So yeah, the advice is there. Lovely. But we hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe.
And check out my YouTube channel.
And our TikTok pages. Everything's in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you need any more advice, and
see you in the next video.
See you next video.
Bye.